/B, I have a story. It appears a stupid prank amongst coworkers gradually grew until my dumb idea for a joke caused a person to go insane, an ending it attempt, and nearly ended a completely innocent, oblivious pregnant woman. I'm going to tell this story, and for those of you interested, put on your reading glasses. It's a doozy. Work at a Menards. Be a stalker. My time slot has a group of 7 stalkers. One of those stalkers is named Ken. Ken is sort of a cunt. Really isolated, snarky, plays by the rules, and rats out people to the managers even though the managers don't give a shit about anything. Another one of these stalkers is named Deb. Deb is engaged because she got knocked up. I'm friends with 3 of the stalkers. We hang out after work, get high together, get into all sorts of hijinks. One night we get super high and watch The Adjustment Bureau, discussing conspiracy theories after the movie for hours. I come up with a fun idea. What if we just, kept sneaking some message to some random person until they went nuts? We discussed it for hours, coming up with dumb shit and giggling like tards. Next day we're driving to work. One of my friends comes up with the idea. Hey guys, we should really do that subliminal messaging shit to Ken. We all agree. But what message? I come up with the message. We should just keep sneaking in, ending Deb into conversations. Like if we're talking to each other around him, somebody just mention it, and if he notices, pretend like it's nothing. We begin that day. Every time we're by him and talking, somebody sneaks in some quick blurt of, "So, when are they ending Deb?" or something stupid. At first we keep snickering when we do it and Ken doesn't catch on, but after a few days it's already just a part of work. We instinctively sneak it into as many things as possible. 2 weeks into this process we sneak one in as Ken walks by, but another coworker was stalking right by us. As soon as we sneak in the "So when's Deb getting murdered?" our coworker laughs and asks what the frick we said. Let them in on the joke. That coworker tells other coworkers. Eventually, everybody in our department is in on the joke except for Ken and Deb. Even the frickin' managers sneak it in when talking to us. This goes on like clockwork for a month. Ken starts getting weirded out. Notices when it comes up, but says nothing. One day I walk to go use the bathroom. I'm in another department. Other side of the store. Ken is nowhere in sight. Hear somebody say, "Yeah, and then after you empty this pallet, we've got to work on the Deb ending." What? .jpg? The whole frickin' store is on this. There are hundreds of workers in this store. People just casually sneak in the Deb murder lines everywhere throughout the store. Even on days Ken isn't working. What the frick have I done? The joke starts to grow beyond my control. I hear casual references to Deb's baby being the spawn of the devil. We need to end Deb before the portal to hell is completed. This goes on for another month. Deb's pregnancy is starting to show. One day, I get a phone call at midnight. Don't recognize the phone number. Who is this? It's Deb from Menards. Are you friends with Ken? Not really. Why? Ken called her, freaking out about her baby. Ken doesn't come to work for a week. Walk into Menards one day. There's a bulletin board in the conference room. Somebody has put up a chicken scratch note saying, "Baby devil, end it." The frick is going on? When Ken comes back, he's noticeably psychotic. He lost tons of weight, stutters, darts his eyes everywhere, and keeps writing in a little notebook he keeps with him. Keep seeing him staring at Deb. Deb avoids him like the plague. One day I find his notebook left at our computer desk. Look around to make sure he's not anywhere to be seen. Open it. He's been writing down names of people, sentences about Deb, trying to put together the story about the baby. Oh shit, .gif. It gets worse. One day at work, I'm talking with my coworkers and Ken comes up to me. Coworker tries to slip in a Deb line. Stop him. "What's up, Ken?" "I need to talk to you. It's important." He makes me go all the way to our conference room on the other side of the building. Asks me how well I know Deb. Not very well. "I think something's going on. Either she's in grave danger or she's very dangerous." I'm not even laughing. I'm legitimately frightened. "Last Tuesday at 8:47 you said the baby's gonna be the key to the portal, did you not?" I remember the exact date and time because of what happens next. I don't think I did, Ken." "Here." He handed me a sheet from his notebook. He wrote down every date and time he heard me say anything about Deb or babies. And some of them almost definitely did not happen. One said December 12th, 9:16. "We have to empty its blood or it will bring the end of days." I did not work that day and definitely never said anything like that. What the frick is happening? I tell Ken he should get some help. He refuses and tells me I can't tell anyone. I tell my coworkers and they think it's hilarious. I'm seriously horrified about this. Debate whether or not I should tell Deb. Decide against it. Try to stop as many people from continuing the whole joke. It's unstoppable. I have no control anymore. The joke has grown into a whole conspiracy. One day, Ken is running around looking for his notebook. He cannot find it anywhere. That night, I find out somebody from Electrical stole it and sent an email with some of the important information Ken wrote down. People began to plan so that Ken's prophecies would come true. Eventually, somebody came to work in a black shroud and kept walking around aisles near Ken. Ken kept seeing him in his periphery. Apparently, Ken wrote about a black shrouded figure destroying the baby. Ken goes home sick. Shit's about to get real. Be this week. Ken has December 31st through January 2nd off. He comes in the 2nd, buys a few things, hangs around our desk and just acts creepy. Ask him if he's okay. Says, I've been better. And won't say anything else after that. Leaves 10 minutes to close. Today, neither Deb nor Ken came to work. They were both supposed to. A worker from Millwork runs over to me. Dude, Ken frickin' went crazy. Well, yeah, he had been crazy since this thing started. What happened? He tried to end Deb. He broke into her house with a hunting knife and tried to stab her stomach, but her fiancé beat his ass. He slit his wrists on their lawn. He's in the hospital. Oh, fuck me. Deb quit and is pressing charges and filing for a restraining order. She and her fiancé are moving. Ken is no longer working at Menards and is facing serious felony charges. Apparently, he didn't cut his wrists too deep and is making a full recovery, physically. I feel badly. I wish I could confess and take some blame for this. But how? What the frick would I even say? My school had that kid. Autistic? Had an obsession with traffic cones for some reason. He happened to live a couple of houses away from mine. Every day, me and my friends would walk to school. That kid would always follow us. Not with us in the group and talking, but would stray behind us on his bicycle. Would always try to butt into the conversations, and we just ignored him. Generally, whatever he had to say was autistic AF or just plain bullshit. Have to cross railroad tracks to get to school. One day, train is stalled on the tracks. Path to school is blocked. It's starting to rain. That kid has a brilliant idea. He gets off his bike and wheels it up to the train. Climbs up onto the hitch of the train. Lifts his bike up so he can get it over the train. Bike gets stuck on some part of the train. All of a sudden, train brakes release. He struggles as hard as he can to rescue his bike. Train starts moving. It's too late now. It's too late to save his bike, but the train is going too fast for him to jump off. Hear a long slowly fade away as the train takes off with him on it. He didn't show up to school until 2 days later. My face went. I've heard that they found him in Louisiana, which is pretty far away considering this was in Missouri. I'm gonna dump one of my stories for y'all. I'll leave it up to you to believe it or not, after your own mind, but for me, this was the biggest nope moment I've had. Some background first. This happened in Boden, Sweden, a couple of years back. Boden is known for one thing, and one thing only: military forts. It was long thought of as the key to northern Sweden. The first thing the Saudis would ruffle stomp if they ever came charging. These forts were secret AF in the past, and for some time one of the forts were used to store a large part of Sweden's gold reserve. However, after the Cold War ended, the forts became even more obsolete than ever before and were decommissioned. Anyway, the story. B21. Hang out with female friend that is more like the sister I never had. We are both scouts and have been for as long as we can both remember. Bored AF. Decide to go recon a cool campsite for the coming Halloween scare hike. My friend, let's call her H, knows a lot of cool old forts and trench systems. Drive off in my car, which was perfectly fine and had gone through inspection without a hitch only a week before. Decide to check out the nearest old fort. Park the car a couple of 100 meters from the old fort because someone had placed big-ass stones as a crude roadblock on the dirt road leading to the fort. The fort is Doug like Pick related, with the exception that only there is no road up to the fort. Pick is another fort near Boden. Walk, climb to the fort from the right slope that's somewhat accessible. Any thoughts of recon for a campsite have soon been replaced by thoughts of exploration. It's about midday, but the daylight is waning fast due to northern Sweden. Luckily, we brought flashlights. Eventually locate a hole in the fence big enough for us to get through. Explore a bit, though all doors are locked either with massive padlocks or internal locks. Start to head back the way we came in. A thick door that we both were sure had been closed before is now slightly ajar. Not by much, just a couple of centimeters. We haven't heard any door opening or anyone else being here. This is a door about 1.5 meters wide, 2.5 meters tall, and made entirely out of 1 decimeter of solid steel. And on rusty hinges, it looks like. Remember that H told me before that the local wildlife seems to shun this place. Okay. Getting a real bad feeling about this right now. We both keep our distance, but our curiosity gets the better of us. We both try to peek inside. Pitch frickin' dark inside. Except I sense something move inside. Don't really know how I know this, but I just get a very weird feeling, like something is staring at us from inside. We both aim our flashlights and thumb them on. Flashlights both give a short burst of light, then go dead as doorknobs. And we put in new batteries before we went out. In the short picosecond we have light, I managed to get a glimpse of something. A gray, blackish humanoid shade that looks more like a beast than a man. At the same time, something in my mind pushes the primal predator panic button. Nope. I'm not sure what H saw, but she is white as a frickin' sheet and as damn near panic as I have ever seen her. We both scramble out without saying a word to each other. We both must have broken the record on 200-meter panicked sprint. Don't know about H, but I felt something. I can't describe it more than a terrible sense of hate following us. Get in the car. I turn the key. Nothing. Try to turn it again. The car won't start. The headlight won't even turn on. Eventually, after turning the key frantically again and again for the longest 2 minutes in my life, the car starts. We get the hell out of Dodge with gravel flying everywhere as I floor it until we get back on the main road. Later I learned through other friends that there has been other similar occurrences there. Some hearing a faint but very much mocking laughter coming from beyond that door, and others feeling watched when they are near the fort. The door have never been ajar before or after though, and it has always been locked when anyone has tried to open it. Damn, I still get the shivers just by thinking of it, and it has been 5 years since that happened. I can add that neither H nor I have been back inside the fence of that place.